That's your supper. You got it.
Hello everyone, Ebba here. Don't I look lovely? Yeah, I feel lovely. Today is the Monday, the 16th of June. Father's Day was yesterday, and since Friday morning, around 10 o'clock, we've been sitting on the side of a road. Not Deerfoot, thank God, but on the side of a road, fairly busy one. It's like pass-through type of road in an industrial area because as we were leaving the little Flying J that we were sleeping in, we were heading off to go kind of to the north end of the city for something, and our alternator pulley fell off, which is odd because it apparently was fixed. A new one, they told us, had been put in last year before we bought the motorhome. So yeah, one more thing to contend with. This has been really hard on me and Gary both. The G7, I'm sure that all of you have heard of the G7 going on. It's going on just south of Calgary in Kamouraska area. A NATO meeting was there kind of the week before. So we did hear the jets and like fighter jets and things like that, the armed forces jets and things like that flying over and making sure the airspace was good, to bringing in all these dignitaries and countries' leaders is who's coming in. And so we heard all of that, and it didn't bother us. I mean, it was just noise. But for whatever reason, I'm really not sure why. Apparently the G7 needs all the Landau tow vehicles in the area. I don't know why. So they've confiscated them all, which means that we can't get towed out of here until after it's over. So that's Thursday or Friday that we will finally, maybe, hopefully, be able to be hauled out of here. The AMA has been trying to find somebody. They brought somebody from Banff, but their vehicle there was not a Landau. And as lovely as it was that the fellow came out and thought that maybe he could help us, he looked at it and he said, "There's no way I can do it," because the way that his trailer worked is it comes way up and then goes backwards, and you have to kind of drive onto it. And so he said, "Well, can it drive?" "No, we can't drive it. You don't go anywhere without an alternator." Our battery is down. It was a couple of days ago down to 6 volts. Our new battery, and so yeah, so we're down to our. We do have some food in the house. It's not like we have zero food. We have some food in the house, but not much. Bree is going to be out of food tomorrow. Our water is down to almost zero, which means that we have to buy water. We're going to have to buy bottled water rather than going and getting our tank filled up and just having water. Yeah, it's and we need our tanks, our other tank dumped, our Blackwater tank dumped, because it's gotten pretty full. I mean, we're sitting still. We've got no means of getting around and doing anything. Tomorrow, Gary's going to have to take a cab over to the nearest shopping center, which is quite a ways away. But he's going to have to do it to go and get a few things. So fortunately, that shopping center happens to have a Walmart and a superstore if he wants to use that instead. Normally we shop at Walmart because the prices are better. It's as simple as that. Even a few cents here and a few cents there adds up pretty quickly. But so he's going to have to do that. He told there was a cab driver actually parked in front of us in the type of cab that we had been wanting to call, because we're going to have to take a cab when this actually does get towed, because tow trucks, they just don't have the insurance for hauling people in them. Sometimes they will, just out of generosity, if they've got room, if there's only one person, that kind of thing. But they don't really have the insurance. And I know that from past experience. My ex-husband was a tow truck operator, and eventually after we had divorced, he had his own business and things. So I had learned sort of the ins of towing companies a little bit. But yeah, so we're sitting here in this industrial area. There is a place near us, and we don't even know where they are. We've got no idea where they are. But they are near us, and they do have internet, and we can sometimes get on. Yesterday, being Sunday, and the whole area was basically empty, I was able to be on it a lot, like pretty much all day. And I had checked. We have a medical reimbursement request in, and this is supposed to be being expedited because it's an emergency situation, is what they put it down to. So we've been watching the bank account to see when it's going in, and they told us on Thursday. This is before we got this thing wrong, but we knew we were going to have the alternator fixed in the motorhome on Thursday. So they told us on Thursday that this, was going through and yada yada yada. Then we find out today, because today it's still not in the bank account. We're going, where the hell did they put it? Where did it go? Because they're telling us it's already been deposited in my account. Well, it hasn't. It's going into some other department and yada yada and on and on. I don't know where the hell it is or what's going on with it. I don't know when they're supposedly getting it through. The lady that Gary was talking to this evening has finally written a big note, big letter on there, and is trying to get it through a different department, I think she said. But and get it through a little faster. But it may not be until Thursday, Friday, maybe Saturday. I don't know. It's just crazy. I mean, an emergency doesn't mean you have to be bleeding. Anyway. So yeah, so here we are. This whole motorhome situation is just driving me. I'm supposed to stay calm so my eyes can have a chance to, keep the pressure down. Yeah. Like that's going to happen in this place. But I really am doing the best I can with what I've been given. I got a little cranky this afternoon, and then this evening when Gary finally he walked over, because we're not that far from the Flying J, because when we came out we heard this clink on the road. Clink. It sounded like metal fell on the road. It did. And I said, what was that? And Gary said, I have no idea. So all of a sudden he had what is termed Armstrong steering. So there was no power steering on it. And this is a big beast to have to Armstrong steer. And he was in a lane that he couldn't get into the lane to turn left back into the Flying J and try and find out what was going on. So we had to go around the block the other way. Right? So we had to go. And we made it about 3/4 of the way all the way around, and finally had to stop because there was nothing left in the battery. And he tried to restart it. Of course that didn't work, so then he decided to walk over and see what had fallen out, if he could find it, whatever it was. And he found this piece, and it's a kind of a round thing, it's a pulley thing, and he found that on the road. There was no belt or anything there with it, so that was a relief. He came back and then he looked, and because he didn't know really where this had come from. Normally these things are put on with an impact wrench, so it should never have fallen off. Obviously it wasn't installed properly a year ago. And so yeah, so here we are. But he looked, and it's called a serpentine belt because it twists not only around the alternator and gets around there and pulls it, but it also does the steering wheel, so it's kind of twists in some way under there. I'm not sure exactly. Power steering, I'm sorry, the power steering.
And the water pump.
And the water pump. So you kind of lose all of them at once if something goes wrong. And of course it once one piece falls out, the pulley, everything is loose. So we were actually lucky that we didn't lose any of the other parts, because these serpentine belts can be really expensive. So yeah, so we called the guy that was going to fix it, because we were kind of heading up in that direction. We were going to go up there, and we've got a generator sitting up at a UPS store that we were going to go and pick up, and we had a battery charger, and that was going to see us through until we got this money from this medical reimbursement thing. And I'm sorry if my camera or my computer keeps pausing. It keeps pausing for some reason on the camera. So if that is happening on the video, I'm really sorry. But anyway, yeah, so that was where we were heading, was up to the UPS store. And then we were kind of going to just go over and park, because we were expecting this money to come in a couple of days. We were actually expecting it to come in on either the Friday, which was Friday the 13th, that didn't help, or maybe Saturday morning, because sometimes it would go in after midnight, be on a Saturday, to be there for Monday kind of thing. It wasn't there. And it's been really tricky trying to get on the internet here, because the company, it is a guest internet, so it's open. But it seems to flash off and on. So during the day in particular. In the evening it's not as bad. It doesn't go away as much. But it'll disappear entirely, and then it'll come back. And this is why we want to get a generator and start getting our own internet, and because this is quite frustrating. We're trying to do something. So yeah, so that was our goal. Was we were driving up there, then we were just going to park and wait till the money came in, and then get the guy to fix it, and we'd be set. Didn't happen. So now we're waiting for the money, which we don't know when that's going to be. They were hoping Thursday or Friday, apparently. So are we, because we'd kind of like to get towed and get this fixed and be done with this. Yeah. Buyer beware. Even buying from a supposedly reputable lot that sells all sorts of RVs all summer long. Yeah. Yeah. This has been a mess the whole year. As you know, if you followed us. We had some good things, and then we had some really bad things, and it's just gotten progressively more bad. AMA has, they have their policies. So you phone them and you say, we need a Landau. We need a Landau truck. Okay? We know what we need. And they have to, for whatever reason, phone other companies that can't possibly handle this motorhome, have no Landau, and then they send us this thing from Banff. It wasn't a Landau, and if we had allowed the guy to load our motorhome onto it, the $8,000 scooter that's hanging on the back end would have gotten wrecked, along with the rack, along with possibly part of the motorhome on the back end. And he told Gary that. Because of the angle that it had to be brought up on, anyway. And we said, well, we need a landau. I mean, you know, that's what we need. Well, if you want, I can come back. Maybe you could use an ordinary tow truck. No, we can't. We can't. We have the scooter hanging on the back. The only way to stop the scooter from being hurt on an ordinary tow truck type, with, you know, big enough to haul us, and not have it dragging on the ground, is to take it off the back. So it has to be undone, unbolted, moved off. The scooter would have to be removed first, then the rack taken off, and they would have to have a place for it to be. Whereas with the landau, you don't need anything. You just put it on. And it's not on a high angle, so it never hurts anything. So, yeah, we're frustrated. We're frustrated and we're tired. We're also sitting on an angle. The motorhome is sitting, you know how a road kind of caps in the middle and then goes down so that it's got drainage along the edge? We're kind of sitting in the drainage part, which isn't helpful because it means that we're walking on an angle all the time. And that's really hard on your body. It's really hard on your back, on your legs, on your knees, on your hips. So, and then when you're lying in bed, you're fighting against that. And my side of the bed, because it's the one on that side, my side of the bed is really slanted. Gary's side of the bed isn't as slanted. It's more flat. I know that because today, when we left the bed, I climbed up on his side of the bed and slept for about an hour and a half. If you hear knocking noise, our curtains have wood on them and they will knock against the window or something like that when the wind is blowing. And we just need a breeze in here. It's quite warm in here right now. So yeah, so it's been quite an experience. Not a good one. But the pizza tonight was good, you know, but it did use about half of our cash. Yeah, they're kind of insanely expensive for what we can afford. And so tomorrow, Gary's going to figure out before the guy comes what he did with the cab driver. Cab driver parked in front of us just to take. He had a sort of a hiatus in work orders, so he just pulled over the side of the road. And Gary didn't know what he was there for because we had called last night when we thought that was it last night? Yeah.
No, Saturday night.
Saturday night. Sorry. We thought this thing was going to tow us away. We had called a cab, and we happened to have called that brand. And I said, "You didn't call a cab." He said no. So he went out and was talking to the guy, and he made arrangements tomorrow sometime. He said, just whenever it's quiet, just stop by and take me over. I've got to go over and get some groceries. So he's going to go over and get some groceries. AMA said, oh, you can have up to $60 for the two of us a day in food, but we have to eat at a restaurant. But we can afford $60 a day for food for the both of us. I mean, I don't know, maybe other people can, but we sure as hell can't. But we can't be reimbursed if we just go and buy groceries for in the motorhome while we're here. So yeah, so it's just, everything is just such a mess right now. And I am fed up to here. And really exhausted. I'm very tired today because I barely slept last night. And when I do sleep, lately I have these dreams, and they're just stupid dreams, and off and on dreams about all sorts of stupid things. And yeah, and then Gary gets dreaming, and when he dreams he snores, so, or talks, or both. Yeah. So last night he got snoring so loud the dog left the room. I heard her come out. I heard her come out of there, which is carpeted, and the only area in the motorhome right now that doesn't have carpet is the kitchen area. And I heard her tick on the floor. Getting out of there. Going up to the front, laying on the rug up there. So even she got disgusted with the story. But, yeah. So this is my sort of catch up for this period of time. I'll do another one of these, and hopefully I'll look better and I feel better and things are better. The next one I do. And I'm actually going to, I think, get Gary to stitch these together and maybe put a little, like, page where the words or, you know, something between. So you get an idea of, you know, sort of there's a space, but it's sort of the same type of thing. So, and kind of stitch them together to make one bigger video as sort of a longer story video that you can watch, and then that kind of gets all of this side of the road stuff out of the way. But yeah, it is a headache, you know. And I have a headache, and I've been doing my very best to keep my meds on schedule, especially the eye drops and the meds for my eyes. And I've been really trying hard to rest my eyes, even just sitting here with my eyes shut. And I do have some real tears types of stuff, and I do put it in my eyes during the day just to let them have some relief, because it's very dry in Calgary, and it just gives them a little bit of moisture. We have had some rain. We had some rain yesterday in the evening, and it was nice. It was so nice and fresh, but then it gets rainy, and then it gets cold, and we have to shut the windows. So yeah, and it rained quite hard. It was raining quite hard. We actually had to shut the windows quite quickly on one side because it was it was raining in. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop this now. It's over 20 minutes, and I you know. But I wanted to just put something in here that just says, you know, what's going on with us now. And eventually we'll have our own internet. Hopefully by next week we are in a much better state, in a much better position, and I will be able to get these things uploaded. I'm going to put a video, hopefully, a video up that sort of explains the next few videos, and then put in the videos that are the travel videos that we didn't finish putting up, and then I can get into doing more things that are more related to the channel, and and hopefully we can start doing some better things on the channel. And in the meantime, I'm really not sure where we'll be parked or what we'll be doing. We know that on the 9th of July we have to be back here. We have to go to Dr. Crichton's office first. Then we have to go over to Rocky View to get my eye, the hole in my eye made bigger, lasered bigger. And then August, sometime in August, beginning of August, I'll be going back to see Dr. Crichton for a follow-up on that. Make sure that that everything is staying, the pressure is lower and is staying that way. And then it will be, unless something goes wrong and I, you know, need to see him more and things like that, then it will be next year. On June the 1st, they've got me booked for the actual cataract operation on this side. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, yeah, we're going to do our best to do our best. I do have some plans for the channel. I also have some plans for a website and things like that. So we'll be working on talking about those in the future. But for now, I'm going to close this off and let you get back to your day. And I'm going to go and have a bit of a rest. Not sure. Maybe if I can be online, I might watch a video or two. If I can't, maybe I'll just sit here and play some cards or something until it's bedtime. I can't go to bed until after 9 o'clock because that's my last meds. And I can't take them too early because there has to be a distance, a spread, between when I take the last time and when I take the next time. So everything has to be kind of, spread out properly. So I can't just say, well, I'm tired, I'm going to take them at 8 or 7:30 and go to bed. It just doesn't, it's not good. And then it's too long from when you go to bed until the next day when I start taking my meds again at 9. So yeah, so anyway, enough of that. You take care of yourselves. Try to be kind. I actually had the supposed customer service. Pardon me, my throat is bugging me tonight. I had the supposed customer service at my bank that I have been with since 1984. Hang up on me today because I was asking questions and he didn't want to answer them. So he just hung up. He said, "You have to go online for that." Click. And I went, "What?" Yeah, I was quite annoyed. I will be sending in a complaint to the bank. And not the branch. I'll send it into head office. They can deal with it. But yeah, so I will talk to you all later. As I said, probably not until after all this is over and done. And maybe we're settled someplace proper and have our internet and all the rest of it. And then I'll be able to do one more sort of thing that tells you what went on. And then we'll put them all together. And if I had a computer that could handle DaVinci, I would put DaVinci on here and learn how to use it and do the stitching myself. But I don't have a computer that can do that. So this old thing does her best, but she's like me. I do my best, but So anyway, you take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you as soon as I can. Bye for this time. I'm trying to find my mouse. There it is.